because of converted cinema, you know, got like a showroom on the front, and the stores were basically up like on the balcony, you know, at the top. And of course you've got like the acoustics in there were quite loud, and you got Bill Buckingham, the chap who used to hammer the body panels. They got these wooden books on the frame on the stage, and of course as he's hammering away, he's got you know, and they were doing the Sprite, you know, the Sprite prototypes, you know, for Le Mans and that, and it was that, and they were hammering away, you know, all the time, you know, and you had to shut the office door if you wanted to hear the phone and that, you know. Of course, being in the cinema, of course, it was the acoustics. They used to really come back at you, you know.
Our working conditions were brilliant. I mean, bear in mind, this was a brand new building. They'd moved up from the Cape, and they put this brand new experimental building behind the cinema there. So it was clean. You could eat your dinner off the floor, and very often did sometimes. But no, it was good conditions. Good conditions. The people were great. I mean, the whole team was good. You know, when I think back, it was a great time. It was an exciting time for me.
A great time. We used to have to go up to the parts department, which was up some stairs to a mezzanine floor that was built with all the parts, and that was an absolute treasure trove, really. If you got the opportunity to go around that parts department, which we did a lot, there was just amazing things. Aluminium wings, aluminium doors for 3000, sprites, Le Mans cylinder heads, blocks, engines, wheels, all just up in the parts department, just waiting to be used if they were ever going to be used. And of course, everybody there who usually had something BMC related, so Austin related, and so there was we always were on the scrounge for experimental for parts and bits and pieces that they didn't want, that they weren't going to use, that wasn't practical. And so most of us at some point in time had a car that was contributed to by Donald Healey. Workshop, we had a wooden staircase that went up to the mezzanine, and all the normal pranks, go and get me a long weight, go and get me a box of tappet clearances, all of those sorts of things went on. And I was quite happy to get out of my first year's apprenticeship so that somebody else could take all the stick, really.
They were looking to produce a Healey 4000 as a big brother to the Healey 3000, and they were doing that with a Rolls-Royce 4-litre engine. I think BMC at that moment in time had a quantity of Rolls-Royce 4-litre engines they wanted to find a home for, so they thought they'd produce a super-duper luxurious sports car. Now, what that entailed was actually cutting a Healey 3000 chassis and body down the middle and jigging it up and widening it by 6 inches before they put the new Rolls-Royce engine in there. I was given the job purely and solely, and it's only me did it, of hand cutting that car right down the middle with a pad saw and hacksaw. It took me 2 whole weeks, every day for 2 weeks. And in the end, we got there. So, and that car still exists, I believe, with a 6-inch gusset runs right the way through it.
So anyway, Stan and Jeff Price came to see me and they said, Jeff Healey wants to see you, can you go up to his office? And then he gave me the opportunity to go into experimental. Well, effectively I started in there, and then the first job was we started making brackets and stuff for the SR. Then when the car eventually was built, you know, the body, Bill Buckingham and Terry Westwood did the body on the car.
Right. Well, who actually styled it? Who designed it? Was it Jeff Healey? Do you think?
I'm sure Barry Bilby and Jeff Healey and also Derek Westwood had a lot of input into the car.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because the original car, it had a big snout on it.
Okay.
You know, it was totally different to that. It was. So anyway, the car was built, and also we used to, along with Clive Henry and Mick Guest, we were doing the Le Mans points
Right.
now, and they were being worked on as well.
Yeah.
But it was a great environment, and of course in Coten End, it was the cattle market was around Coten End as well, so that was quite interesting. It was a bit fresh sometimes when the cattle market was on, and all the cars used to come up the one side and go and walk into the workshop entrance and straight into the office, and inevitably getting them from the entrance into the workshop, from there to the entrance into the workshop, involved going round the whole U shape of the building, which was a bit of a cinder track really, and of course that just ended up as a bit of a high-speed track really. And there were a few people, and I can remember Jeff Price screaming at people because they were going too quickly, and he was trying to get from one side to the other, and by the time he set off to get hold of them and tell them, they'd got round the other side, the car was in the workshop and there was no driver to be seen, and he didn't know who it was.
Anyway, we were locking up one Saturday when a gentleman wearing Wellington boots with a lot of tarmac stuck to them came in through the front door carrying a supermarket type carrier bag, to which there was a lot of bemoaning because everybody was just going. So I said, I'll speak to him and I'll come over to the pub when I've finished with him. They all said, you won't do any good with him, he's just coming here to have a look. So I spoke to the gentleman, and he said that the Jensen Interceptor parked over on the one side of the showroom, which I think was about £8,200 brand new at the time. He said, is that particular one for sale? I said, yes. He said, right. And he said, the Jensen Healey parked on the other side. He said, is that one for sale? I said, yes. He said, could I have them both ready for next Saturday, one for myself and the other one for my wife? I said, are you sure, sir? He said, yes. Can I pay a deposit now? And he produced £5,000 from his carrier bag, which took me a long time to count, and I did the paperwork and everything. I then arrived at the pub some 3/4 of an hour late to announce what should I do with the £5,000 I had, and the two cars in the showroom are now sold.